At the 11th hour, Apple squeezed out 3 brand new chips across 3 new Mac computers, 2 fresh versions of the MacBook Pro, and an updated iMac, finally. Apple didn't change anything but the silicon inside, but we were impressed with every flavor of the new Macs thanks to these new chips. Let's start with the 14-inch MacBook Pro. We got to test this with both the 8-core M3 processor for $1599 and the 11-core M3 Pro chip for $1999. The base M3 model stands in for the discontinued 13-inch MacBook Pro, like a bridge between Apple's MacBook Air and Pro lines. While it didn't win an editor's choice, this model performed well against much more expensive laptops for a lot less cash. That's something we've rarely, if ever, been able to say about a MacBook. You may be put off by just 8GB of memory to start, but this didn't seem to hold it back in testing. The 512GB SSD, however, might be tough to deal with. At least the SD card reader is still included to help with space. We're also left feeling positive for the Mac's future in gaming. The M3 processor showed honest-to-goodness gaming chops even with just the 10 GPU cores. While the chip didn't compare well with Nvidia's latest GPUs, we were able to play current high-end games, like Baldur's Gate 3, at 1080p with a smooth frame rate and lots of detail. Of course, Apple knows how to top it all off with industry-leading battery life, more than 22 hours on a rundown test. The basic 14-inch MacBook Pro brings serious heat for its price, and the lineup only gets better from there. Next, we tested another 14-inch MacBook Pro, but with the M3 Pro chip inside. This was a huge step up in performance from $1999. The M3 Pro has 11 CPU cores and 14 GPU cores, and at this price, that memory goes all the way up to 18GB total. That's actually quite a lot for $400, even if the SSD capacity doesn't change. Of course, you can buy more storage and memory in all of Apple's Mac configurations. This put the 14-inch MacBook Pro well ahead in most of our tests for far less cash. Oh, and it shattered our battery life record with a crazy 30 hours off the charger. With that, giving this MacBook Pro an Editor's Choice Award for compact workstations was an easy call. Finally, we have the 16-inch MacBook Pro with Apple's most powerful version of its top-tier chip, the M3 Max. This is where Apple's pricing gets carried away. Starting at $2499 with an M3 Pro, Apple's upgrade options can see you spending as much as $7,200. This is how we tested the 16-inch MacBook Pro, with the best version of the M3 Max packing 16 CPU cores and a giant 40 GPU cores. For $7,000, you also get 128GB of memory and 8TB of SSD space. And, just so you know, the base level M3 Max comes with 30 GPU cores costing $3499 to start in the 16-inch MacBook Pro and $3199 to start in the 14-inch model. At any rate, the 16-inch MacBook Pro with M3 Max ripped through every task we threw at it, keeping pace with Windows workstations we compared it with. Pricey or not, we couldn't deny the new MacBook Pro's power and gave it an Editor's Choice Award for high-end workstations. At last, we come to the iMac, which came out of hibernation after skipping the M2 generation entirely. Starting at $1299, the 24-inch iMac's only change is new silicon inside. You get 8GB of memory, a teeny 256GB SSD, and the most basic M3 chip, with just 8 GPU cores for that price. Our test model was the most expensive available at $2699. This balloons the storage up to 2TB and the memory up to 24GB while tacking on the 10-core M3 GPU found in the base 14-inch MacBook Pro. Sure, we tested the most expensive version, but we were still impressed with the iMac for its surprising value. Not much about the M3 chip's performance changes with just 2 more cores in the GPU or additional memory. It took higher-end Intel processors and pricier systems to truly challenge the iMac in our tests. For that impressive performance, plus its versatility with gaming and a crystal clear webcam, we gave the 24-inch iMac an Editor's Choice Award in the all-in-one desktop category. With such a strong showing out of the gate, we're excited for what 2024 will bring for Apple's remaining iMacs yet to be upgraded to M3. Until then, stick with PC Mag for the latest PC and Mac reviews.